Last December that passed, we had a party here to open this house for 30 days. And the reason is we have a very strong support, both within and outside Africa, who really like our videos so much. For example, you may find out that maybe some parents left Africa and to the US to look for a better life there. Then they see these people in Africa making YouTube videos. They become really our big fans. And sometimes it goes beyond them being fans. Sometimes they show up here. And many times they show up here. Yes. And we host them. Most of the time we never ask for any payment. We just tell them we restaurant. Yes. And something about Africa is we are not really like money oriented. What am I getting back from you? What are you giving me? What is the exchange? Mostly, like me growing up, I remember when visitors came to our home, I knew I would sleep on the floor. Because there were not many beds, and if visitors show up, you already know where you will sleep on the floor. It's not a big deal. So that shows you how mostly Africans are really hospitable, very welcoming. I'll give you my food that I was supposed to eat at lunch, so that I can actually welcome you as a visit. So anyway, let me introduce myself again. My name is Hallo. I am Hallo on YouTube. I started making YouTube videos in 2016. So the story is, as a young guy growing in Africa, actually I grew up in this village. I was a guy with the goats here and no shoes. You know, being sent home like 20 times a term to get school fees. One of the reasons I keep those pigeons you've seen is I used to sell them for $1 and I'll get my shirts, I'll get my shoes. And I grew up knowing that I have to defend myself. Like, not because most of the time you come from families that don't have. It's not like being in Europe, you see old buildings like 18 something, so you totally know the grandfather built, left it to the newer generation. Most of the new Africa that we have today, especially youngsters, it's us trying to build that. Just trying to know, okay, there's something called long term. I have to do something that will live beyond. So that's how we grew up in this village, and most people around the village grew up just like me. But kind of say, my mom is a teacher, maybe we meet her today. She pushed me towards like success. She would tell me, go to school. You know, you go to the university. I didn't have an idea about university because then in the village, maybe I could remember only one guy had gone to the university, and it was like a small talk. You know, everyone like looked up to him like, wow, that's the university. So most of us like grew up when we are not going anywhere. Even the good scouts and all that. But my mom kept saying, hey, you're going to university, you have to study hard, you have to do this. So I studied, I went to university. There I met I schooled at Chudo Science. Someone is doing at Chudo Science. It's purely mathematics. Yes. So in the university, I was around. But we formed like a group, you know, in university you always have your group that you hang with. I live with as university students, you know, I have my guy there, maybe sometimes you have no money, say, can you learn this? So also I had friends in the university, and one of my friends got an opportunity to go to Colombia to go and do volunteering, teach English. So technically, the Colombian government wanted people from all over around the world to go and teach English and also do cultural exchange. So this guy, his name was Ken, and that's where my story of success begins. So, but before that, we used to sit down like a group of around 10 to 12 boys. We'd sit, we convert in a house that some of our friends live, and we would talk. We would ask each other, what do you want to be when after school? What do you want to do? Me, I'll tell them I want to travel the world. I'll tell them, I just want to go, bro. Me, I just want to go and see how it will be. And sometimes it came out as rough because people will laugh like, hey, you don't even have a passport, you've never even crossed the border, but you just want to go. I kept telling them, me, even if I go to India, in those days, I don't know, I liked India so much. Because I thought America was like a dream that will never come. Because to go, it's too, like, you have to have backup, maybe your uncle is a politician, or you have a lot of money. So I saw a country like India, maybe will accept music than the US or Europe. Because everybody wanted to go to those areas. So we used to talk, I would say, I'll go to a country like India and just see how they live there, if possible, go to Sri Lanka, like just, countries that don't have a lot of restrictions to go. So, one time, one of my friends called Ken got this is my wife, from Argentina. Yes, we met in Mexico through traveling. Yes, but anyway, so this friend of mine called Ken got an opportunity to go to Colombia to go and do this like exchange program. And he was not being paid a salary, he was being given a stipend of $500. Stipend is you just get this money to help you move around, catch a bus, or class. By that time I finished actuarial science. We had finished all of us actually, like the group. I was working as a salesman in a bank which later closed. It was called Chess Bank. So I used to walk to people and tell them, hey, I want you to open an account with us. And these are the products we have. We can give you maybe a loan, this, So sometimes I would walk in the streets of Nairobi, because I've been to Nairobi, until my shoes were at one point to one side. And in such big cities, you don't trust strangers just walking to you and telling you, hey, first is like, who are you, So, but that actually kind of was teaching me how to deal with strangers in the future, because I ended up then becoming this traveler that I am today. So I went to Colombia. Can't go the opportunity to go to Colombia, but all the boys told me, no, this is the crazy guy, he's called Marwa, he should be the one to go. I think Colombia is too dangerous for you, Ken. And by that time, Ken was doing very well. He used to do some online writing, so he had bought a car. So he had a lot of attachments to the country, more than me. He had nothing to lose. So Ken told the boys that he got this opportunity to Colombia. All the boys told him, no, tell Mara, the guy who always talks about he wants to go, he wants to go, he wants to go. So they told him. Ken came and told me. And funny enough, in that week I've been fired. I've been fired by my bank because I didn't meet the goals of the bank. I didn't sell more products the bank wanted. So, and also that story has taught me in life, even if you are down there in the hole, you are not buried with lantern. Yes, you are not. So he told me, and I was like, oh wow, I just lost my job. Maybe I could go to Colombia. I didn't know much about Colombia, I just knew Shakira. And I'm like, okay. But my friends knew more about Colombia because they used to watch the series of Narcos. Pablo Escobar and all these things. So then I was excited. So I started Googling Colombia, and this guy gave me a Facebook link. So I put my information, my name, I finished my schooling and everything. After I think 3 days, I got an email back. First it was Facebook, so I put the names on the link, on the Facebook links, Then I got an email. So in the email, we talked, and they did interviews with me. One of the questions everybody asked me is, if you come to Colombia and there's a lot of culture shock, what will you do? I told this madam, I'm easygoing. I'm just friendly, the way it is. So I passed my interviews then. It was time for me to go to Colombia. I didn't even have enough money by that time. I had just finished my schooling that 1 year, so I was traveling $120 US per month. And you know, you have to pay transport, pay small space you're living, pay electricity. So I came back home, I told my mom, I'm gotten a job abroad, I want to go. And funny enough, about this job, they wanted me to pay like a commitment, where a commitment fee. Yes, a commitment fee. If you go to Colombia and you leave the job before finishing the contract, you lose the money. By that time, it was 50,000 Kenyan shillings, which was like $500. And I wanted you to pay before you leave. So most people actually, when they reach that stage, they say this is a scam. This is online scam. How can people want to give you a job when they're asking you for money? But what's helped me is I found a guy called Kevin who had left Kenya, who was already in Colombia. And I found him on Instagram. So I talked to this guy, I saw his pictures, he was actually teaching, just exploring Colombia. I said, I want to. So I risked everything. I sold the few chairs I had even a TV. I sold all of them, came back home, told my mom, hey man, I found a job abroad, I want to go. And my mom was like, are you sure it's true? Because nobody had left my village at that time, especially in our family. So, but I was able to convince my mom. My mom took a small loan, and also I sold some stuff I had. I bought my flight ticket, and also I found my visa because they were processing the visa. Then I left Kenya. The story how my first flight, the story of the story, I'll leave it alone. Because I nearly missed my flight because the invitation letter was written in Spanish. And at the airport, they were asking me, do you know what is written in this letter? And I was like, I don't know. What if they want to take your kidneys? You know, I was the last guy to board the flight. That's the story of another day. But anyhow, I left for Colombia. So I went to Colombia. First time, the organization was very legit. It was run by the government. I was in a 5-star hotel the first night I arrived in Colombia. So I took a picture and put it on Facebook and also sent it to my mom like I have arrived. All the boys were like, oh, it is true, you know. Then, after orientation, we were assigned our cities. I was in the city of Medellin, Colombia. And I lived there for the entire year. This villa is called Villa Medellin. Yes, because when I was in Colombia, in Medellin, my first city, I was very lonely because one, I didn't speak the language. I was also this black guy who was still from Africa, is like, you know, and the city is not really like multicultural, it's more white. So, and again, I don't speak the language, so you approach someone and trying to ask for a matchbox. You know, matchbox, they call it phosphorus. You can imagine that coming from here, where you speak Swahili and local languages. So it was tough. So I found myself in a small room, in a shared apartment, just every day going to work, coming back. But I live next to a university, it's called University of Antioquia. So there was a lot of movement of students there, so they would meet in the evening, playing drums and bonfires. So I would go there in the evenings. So then, after like maybe I'll say 3 months, I was feeling like I'm feeling okay with this country. And I started telling my friends like, hey, you know, actually Colombia is so beautiful. It's not the way you think. It's not the Narcos series you watched. And they were like, no matter, there we are not coming. There I need to stay. So I was like, maybe, and they would ask me for pictures all the time. Send us a picture we see, and sometimes I'll do videos, I'll send them videos. I'm like, no. And then I'll get this over and over and over and over. I said, maybe, what if I buy a camera? And I started recording my videos, and I would post it, and then somebody asks me how it is. And because sometimes other things you can't even tell somebody a story, it's good if you record them and share and they see for themselves. So that's how I saved money. I was being paid $500. I saved for like 6 months. I bought my first camera, and I started filming videos on YouTube. I had no idea about the money part. I didn't know like I would get paid and things like that. Me, I was just filming videos because I had boys back home to show. Yes, that was my motivation. So I started filming. The first
one, you can see that one on YouTube, it's there. And through the journey, so it's been 8 years. 8 years on YouTube. And then I saw this guy called Casey Neistat. He's an American who does traveling videos, vlogs, short ones, very well edited. And this guy will do videos, I'm like, I want to be the next Casey Neistat. I'm going to be the next one. I'll tell myself like that. Then one day he did this video saying the best camera to make YouTube vlogs is Canon 70. I'll never forget it. That night I said I will save for this one. Like this guy had a direct influence. I hope one day he'll take it. And then I used to see him travel across Africa, Europe, everywhere. So it's not like an American YouTuber, he's from the US here. But he traveled everywhere. Even I saw the first time about Victoria Falls. He documented the story. I was so inspired by what I told Casey. I said, you know, I'm going to be the next Casey. I'm going to be the next Casey. Then there was loneliness, living. Now, the loneliness, the only way I would console myself is watch things on YouTube. So when I met this guy called Casey, I knew already I want to do this thing. But I didn't know the manufacturer. So I started filming videos. After 6 months of saving, I bought the camera. I still have the camera around here. It's one of my most expensive things, even better than this house, I'll say. So I started filming videos, and everything I thought about myself on YouTube. I would ask myself, which program to use? So I found this program called Nairobi Kenya, and it's very expensive to buy. You have to pay every month. So I had to do how to use Adobe Premiere for free. Then I found some guys explaining, oh, there's cracked version. Check in the link. Me, I didn't hear about viruses. Me, I clicked on the link, and somehow, I got the editing software. Ever since I've been using it up to today. You can imagine. So I started filming videos, learning from YouTube every day. If I had questions, I had nobody to consult. I just asked for YouTube. For example, and before that, I used to ask myself really like this question like, how can I make money without working? How can I make money when I'm sleeping? I used to ask those questions on YouTube. Because I was already tired, like, every day I have to go to work, I have to do this. I will this in my life. Is this really what I want? You know? So I would ask really funny questions. For me, I call them like out of the box questions. But these questions, I found answers on YouTube. I learned about passive income. And now YouTube, I kept doing YouTube. Like, that was November 2016. After 1 year, I got my first pay. First, I remember one day, now it's a little complicated. You have to acquire 1,000 followers, 4,000 watch hours, and many other things. But those days, you started on YouTube like today, and today they start paying you. But it will come in a very small portion. So I remember the first month, I made like $2. So there's this co-teach of mine that we were working with. I took my excitement to her. Hey, Paula, I made money from YouTube. And I made money with Paula. Then she asked me how much. It was like 6,000 Colombian pesos. That was like $2 those days. So she laughed at me and said, no, this is which money is this? $2 only. But me, I was excited that, wow, I've made actually something from the internet. Because I've always been fascinated how people make money from the internet. But 1 year down the line, I made my first, it was $1,300 after 1 year. Actually, the same amount of money that I bought my first camera. Then after that, I said, oh, actually, and I still have that video on YouTube, you can find it there. I went to Western Union and by those days, I used to Western Union, and they give me a code. So Google sends you the code, and you go to Western Union, and you give them the code, then they see the amount of money. For the first time I've ever received $1,000 solid, like once in my life. Then I had the money in my hand. I was like, bro, actually this thing is happening. Look, I made more money than any job I've ever done in my life. So I started asking myself, okay, how can I make more money actually? I realized the story is if I make more videos on YouTube,
And these videos have like interesting topics that people want to watch and well edited and put together. If I make more videos, I can actually earn more money. Trust me, the following month after me receiving the 1,300, which it had accumulated for a whole year, I got the following month. So remember, 1 year I waited, I got $1,300. The following month I made $900. The following month. Then from there, I can't even remember how much I made. Maybe you can see some things like losing a house. So I got my money and I said, okay, now I'm working. That time I didn't know how to speak Spanish. I'll do street interviews with people, with strangers. You can find this on my YouTube channel. And you see, I didn't even put this. I wanted to travel like Casey, but I had a job. Every day I had to report to work, so I can't even travel. And they give you just a weekend. So I want to go to, let's say, for example, even within Colombia, let's say Cali, Cali, Colombia. I will not go because every week I have to be at work. So the only time I get actually time was the weekend. So I started making videos about nightlife, party, I would ask people questions. Because that's the time when I found business that at least something. So I would meet strangers with my broken Spanish. I would just struggle. I didn't care actually. I had nothing to do. After 1 year, the job finished in Colombia. It was time for me to pack. Then I asked myself, so where should I go? So this time, at one point actually, the first 1 year, because the contract was 1 year. So after 1 year of my work in Colombia, I became homeless. After the first 1 year. So what happened was, the contract was 1 year. So when you finish your contract, you have to wait until again they go the same process again. The only advantage you have is you worked before in the company, so at least maybe that's an advantage. So when my first year finished in Colombia, my visa was expiring.